Welcome to Gadberry Leadership Coaching. This is our Leading Change series, and I love talking about leadership. I love talking about leadership, but I also love talking about change. I'm going to quote again what John Maxwell says: change is inevitable, but growth is optional. So what I believe is that every time we have a change or an opportunity to change, we should be growing through that. Don't just go through change. Grow through change. Leaders are navigators. We're looking out into the future. We're seeing that change needs to happen, and we change in a positive direction to get us where we need to go. It is literally the essence of our life as a leader. So don't be afraid of change. Don't resist change. Don't merely tolerate change. Don't even just accept change, but embrace change, and matter of fact, lead change, because change is a good thing. Healthy organizations grow, growing organizations change. So it's almost silly when we complain about changes that are happening in our organization because they're growing. We need to be looking out in the future, seeing those changes that need to happen and lead them to happen so that we're not a victim to change, but we're a leader of change. I hope that makes sense to you. And I'm so glad to talk to you today. I want to talk to you today a little bit more, and I'm just going to take a few minutes, but this is something I'm very passionate about. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about leading change in the sense of doing something with your life that makes a difference and the change that's required. There's a quote, I want to say it might be from Mother Teresa, but I hear a lot of people say it, so I don't know exactly if it came from her or not. But the idea is this: be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see. Well, here's what I think about that. If you're going to be the change you want to see, then you're going to have to lead the change you want to be. And a lot of us can talk a good game about things that need to change in the world, whether it's injustice, whether it's poverty, whether it's organizational change, whether it's things that are stuck that need to change, that we are going to have to get people off high center about. Whatever it is, a lot of us talk a good game, and we can point to the thing that needs to change, and we can have an opinion about the change that needs to happen. But there's a whole different, there's a lot of difference between having an opinion about things that need to change and actually leading that change and being that change. And that's an obvious statement and an obvious thought, but I just want to help you kind of think through how to lead the change you want to be so that you can be the change you want to see. I really think it's a positive thought to be the change you want to see, because so many people talk about what they want to see change, but they're not actually changing themselves. And so I'm going to just kind of give you just some some thoughts I have about this. Now, what you may not know about me is that I am a pastor. You know that from the previous videos, but I also have an organization called Global Reach for Justice. I'm the executive director of this organization, and it is a short-term missions operation, basically. We have vision for it to be much more and for us to enlarge our capacity with it, and we're working on that right now. But the truth is, in doing this, I never thought I'd want to do it. I never had any desire to go around the world and do a change. And just to help you understand, when we go, we partner with other churches, because I really don't know how to do missions, but I do know how to do local church. And so what we do is church-to-church missions type programs or outreaches. So I teach a lot of leadership. I develop a lot of leaders. We feed the hungry. We house orphans. We take on medical care in some cases. So it has, over the last 10 to 12 years, it has been a lot of different things that we've done, spent a lot of money, taken a lot of people, and we're very excited about that and proud about that. But when I first started this, it wasn't something I was trying to do. It was something that was kind of revealed to me, was in me. And just to make a long story short, as an organization, we wanted to take a trip gathering with some other organizations like, Hillsong and Joyce Meyer, Hand of Hope. And they were doing a deal in Cambodia, and my pastor needed someone to lead it. And I had never done it before. I'd never done missions in any capacity. I'd done every other ministry aspect, but I'd never done missions. But I thought, hey, it's leadership. It's building teams. It's growing teams. It's working with teams. I can do that. And so I chose to do it, and I started, and it is just in my blood. I had a guy that mentored me, took me on a trip, just me and him, before I started leading this, and it changed my life. And while I was in Cambodia and had experienced all of the sights that you see when you go to Cambodia, and Cambodia is very rapidly developing, and man, good things are happening in that nation, and it's so exciting to see. But for the first time I experienced it, I saw the killing fields, I saw the museums about everything that happened in the 1970s genocide, where Pol Pot came in and wanted to turn the whole nation communist and make everybody rice farmers, and he wanted to be this powerful exporter to the whole world, and man, he just destroyed people. I'd never seen anything like it. And all I could think of is, somebody's got to do something about this. And an overwhelming compulsion came over me. You're going to do something about it. You're going to do something about the hopelessness. You're going to do something about the orphans. You're going to do something about, and I just remember thinking, God, what can I do? I'm just a guy. We've got people, but I mean, we can't. What can we do about something that happened, 30 years ago to a nation that has impacted it so negatively? How can we change that? And I remembered a quote by Helen Keller. She said, "I'm only one, but I am one. And I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And I will not allow that which I cannot do to keep me from doing that which I can." And we say it this way: we can't do everything, but we can do something, and we refuse to do nothing. So it just got in me. I've got to do something. And so from that point to this, we've been taking trips, we've been raising money, we've been leading leaders, and we've been seeing change. Now, are we anything compared to some great organizations out there? No. But I wasn't asked to be compared to those. I was asked to do what I was asked to do, and so we're doing that. I can't even imagine not doing it. And it's because I saw change that needed to happen, and I decided I would be that change. So I'm going to give you 10 points of how to lead change you want to see. So number one, know what you want, okay? Don't just go out there and pick a trend. There's so many people that are just grabbing a hold of trends against injustice and trends against this and trends. There's so many things that you could be helping with, and it's okay to just grab one if you want, but I think if you're really going to lead change that you want to see and you want to be that change, you're going to have to find out what is it that pushes your button. What is it that needs to change? What do you want to see change? And get conviction about it, and then begin to decide what you want to do. Know what you want. If you come from a Christian background, then what you need to do is pray and ask God to give you direction. But there are other indicators besides just hearing from God, like what makes you angry. Now, I don't mean in a losing your temper sense. I mean, what do you see? Like, one of the things that really affected me is I saw girls, little girls, the ages of my young daughters at the time, they were much younger then, that were being trafficked in human trafficking. And I got so angry that I was like, I'm doing something about this. And I have, and we have. And so what makes you angry? Or what do you get passionate about? What do you really feel strongly about? That every time someone starts talking about it, it burns up on the inside of you. You're like, yes, I've got to do something about that. So you need to know what you want. You can't approach this. I know everybody's for a cause today, and most people are talking a lot, but they're doing nothing. Let's just be honest. So what is it you want? Number two, dig deep. Do your research. A lot of times people are going after causes and they're going after change they want to see, but they're not doing their research. I heard a story one time of a man who raised $4 million, and he was going to go to Rwanda, and he was going to build 40 houses in 40 days. And he put in to get a permit to do this. And I mean, when the total budget for Rwanda is about the size of the total budget for the state of Oklahoma, you would think that they would take anything, but they refused him. And they said no. And this guy had already raised money. He had already done this campaign. And he couldn't believe they rejected him. But here's why they rejected him. Said, you're going to come over here and you're going to build all these houses, and here's what's going to happen. You're not going to use any of our labor. You're not going to teach any of our people how to do this. And then you're going to build homes for 40 homes for 40 different families, and then we're going to have tons of people asking, who's going to build us a home? They get a home for free. Why don't we get a home for free? And then you're really not going to have benefited our nation at all. So we're saying no. Now, what is that? That is someone who's not digging deep. They're not researching. They're not trying to find out what is the need really. You know, we get so self-righteous in the States thinking we know what is best for other people. And really, why don't we just find out? Dig deep. Become an expert in that area that you want to see change, and then dig deep and make it happen. And then number 3, go beyond passion and into purpose. You know, your passion does indicate what it is you may be called to do, but you need to go beyond passion and into purpose, because I'm going to tell you, when you do things like this, there is a point that the passion dissolves and it just becomes work. And you have to know this isn't just a fleeting passion. This is purpose. This is what I'm created for. This is what I know I am supposed to do with my life type stuff. And when you face hardships and difficulties and pressure, your passion ain't going to get it done, because the emotion can just go away. It can just subside. And then you're just stuck with the hard, difficult task of making it happen. So I want to encourage you, you need the conviction of purpose in your life, not just fleeting passion that you're fired up about something. Okay? Number 4, talking is fine, walking is better. Talking is fine, walking is better. You know, when I first started doing this, I really had a real irritation with all of the awareness groups, because to me, they just seemed like a bunch of people just talking, not doing anything. But I've since had a revelation understanding that in order for us to really raise the funds, in order for us to really make a difference, in order for us to lead teams to do the things that need to happen, we have to make people aware. But at some point in the awareness quotient, there has to be action. And what I find is happening nowadays is you got people jumping on bandwagons of causes, and they're all about awareness, and they have these extreme opinions, and they're criticizing and ridiculing people who don't think the way they do or not as passionate about it as they are, and they just go and go and go. And then you ask them, so what have you done? Oh, well, this, I've talked a lot. Listen, it's not enough. Talking's not enough. You can make as many people aware, but at some point, you have to do something. At some point, you have to put skin in the game. So if you're going to lead change that you want to see, you have to walk it out. Talking's fine, walking's better. Number 5, find out what you don't know. You know, a lot of things you need to know, and a lot of things you do know. And as you dig deep, you're going to find out a lot of things and learn a lot of things, and that's great. You'll know a lot of things. But what you need to do is you need to find out what you don't know. And there are a lot of things that you don't know you don't know. And so how do I find out what I don't know I don't know? Well, I'll tell you how you find out. You get around people who've gone before you. You get around people who know things you don't know, who've done things like this before, and you listen, and you lean in, and you take notes, and you write, and you think, and you process, and you let them give you insight. Just like I did. I let a guy just literally, he took me on a trip to Cambodia, and it was just me and him, and he walked me through for an entire 10 days before I even came back and tried to do anything. You need to get people around you who can help you figure out what you don't know. Because right now you don't know what you don't know, and they can help you with that. 6, build a team. You know, that's what leadership is. You can have causes, you can have passions, you can have desires to be the change you want to see, but the truth is you're not going to get anything done without a team. So you have to start gathering people who have the vision you have, and that trust you and have confidence in you to lead them. Leadership, remember, is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So you need to gather people you influence to help you fulfill this vision. Number 7, accept the fact that everyone does not love it like you do. You know, when you really get something down on the deep inside of you that this is what I'm really supposed to do, this is the cause I want to fight for, this is the change I want to see, so I'm going to be this. It gets to that level in you, man, passion comes out. You know, it's kind of like you start seeing it everywhere. Have you ever bought a new car and you hadn't seen a car like this anywhere, and all of a sudden you buy it, and you start seeing it all over the place. People pass, and you're like, that's my same car. It's because you now have this filter that you're seeing through this new purchase you've had. It's the same way with a cause. When you really get something deep inside you, you start seeing it everywhere. And you want everybody to feel the same way about it that you do. But can I tell you something? God didn't make us all the same, and we're not all going to be as passionate as you are about the thing that you're passionate about. And you're going to have to be okay with that. I've met a lot of people in outreach circles and in mission circles and in NGO circles and in nonprofit circles, and they have this chip on their shoulder, and they've become embittered, and people just avoid them because they want everybody to think about it exactly like they do, and if you don't, then something's wrong with you. That is not the way life works. If you really want to be able to influence people and lead them, you're going to have to understand there are people out there that are passionate about what you're passionate about. And then there are other people who may not be as passionate, but they will support and they will help. And you cannot get this weird, condemning, heavy-handed attitude, chip on your shoulder about people who don't see things exactly how you see it. That's not going to lead change that you want to see. It just won't happen. So I want to encourage you, be passionate about it, but let people be passionate about what they're passionate about, and you cast the vision. And if a person is supposed to be with you on it, they'll catch that vision and they'll run with you on it. So that's a good thing to remember. Now, number 8, remember, and I just reiterate, leadership is influence. So if you're going to have influence with people in these arenas that you want to see change, or in people that you're building to help you change things, then here's what you need to do. You need to be able to influence them. Well, how do you influence someone? Add value to their life. Before you go barging through trying to get everybody to commit to your agenda, maybe you should add value to them. Maybe you should make a deposit in their life. Maybe you should connect with them and try to build them up as a leader and as a person and raise their potential before you start asking, give me money, give me time, give me resources. Come on, leaders build influence, and influence is built by adding value to other people. And I can promise you this, the more you add value to someone else, the greater value will be added to you. So you will be able to get people on board with you. You will be able to accomplish the things you want to accomplish, but you have to learn it's all about influence. Number 9, be patient. Now, I'm just going to tell you, in all honesty, I'm not. It's one of the weaknesses of my life. When I get my mind around doing something and I want it to be done, if I start it, I want it to happen right now. But let me just tell you something, things like this, of this magnitude, you're really going to lead change. It's going to change things culturally. It's going to change poverty cycles, going to change criminal behavior, going to change what injustice, whatever, going to change your organization. It takes time. Change is not something that you snap your fingers and go, it's done. It doesn't work that way. Change is gradual. Change is growth. So it doesn't just happen, it takes time. So just be patient. And when things don't come out the way you want them to, learn from them, do it better next time. When something fails, let it teach you. Let it be your educator and do it different. Henry Ford said, it's one of the favorite quotes I have. He said, failure is merely an opportunity to do it again more intelligently. And I really believe that. So when something fails, be patient, learn from it, improve, try again. When things aren't changing as fast as you want, when it's not growing as fast as you want, when money's not coming in as fast as you want, just be patient and just keep consistently and persistently pursuing the vision of developing change. I want you to think of Nelson Mandela, who was in prison for, I want to say, 27 years. And the whole time he was in prison, he was writing letters. And as he was writing letters, he was changing culture. And when they let him out, how does a man get out of prison and then become the president of the nation? Because he was affecting change over decades. It takes time. It takes time. Our society and culture doesn't want anything to take time anymore. And that's why we're getting a lot of cheap renditions of a lot of things. We're getting a low quality of a lot of great things because everybody's in a hurry. Everybody got to be done now. Got to happen now. Our marriages are falling apart because we can't work through anything because it's not changing right now. So on and so forth. So I want to encourage you, be patient. Number 10 and last, model it. If you really believe you want to be the change you want to see, that speaks You have to model it. Let me tell you something. I am not an environmentalist, a classic environmentalist in the sense of global warming and all that. I'm not, and I'm not going to pretend to be. But I do believe we should be good stewards over the world that God has given us. I just don't think how anybody is negatively impacted by us taking care of the earth that we've been given to steward. And so I think we should really take care of it. But I got to tell you that I get very angry and very frustrated at these guys that are giving us all this extreme information about all of this stuff that's happening on our planet, which we don't know if it's true or not. We got arguments on both sides and we don't know what's really happening. But we do know this, that a lot of them are demanding and demanding and demanding that we change this and change this. And you may not know this, but a lot of them that lead these organizations have become multi-billionaires as a result. You need to know that. But here's what aggravates me. They don't live it. They're telling everybody, all these nations, you got to change this and you got to change that. But they're doing the very things in their lifestyle that they're telling everybody else not to do. Now listen, even if I don't agree with you, even if I don't come down the same line you do on some things, if you model what you say you believe, I'm in. I may not support you if I don't agree with it, but I respect you and I can trust that you really do believe what you're saying. But listen, don't be a person who says, we got to change this and we got to change that, but you haven't changed it yourself. That's ridiculous, and nobody's following you if that's the case. That's why a lot of these guys are having no success at this, because they're preaching to the choir. They're preaching to people who already believe like them, and they're not converting anybody. Why? Because we're looking at their lives and they're saying, you don't believe this. You're just making money off of it. And so I want to encourage you, if you're going to be a person who really affects change, model it. Model it. That's what leadership is all about, really. It's teaching, it's modeling, it's leading, it's influencing, it's being trustworthy, it's being a person that we can have confidence in. So be a leader, and if you really want to be the change you want to see, this is the way you do it. Thank you so much for being a part. And I can just tell you that things are going really well with Global Reach for Justice. We're in the middle of some transitions and trying to make things better and growing in our capacity there. And we really believe in the next few years, God's going to take it to a whole new level. And we can't wait to see that happen. And I want that to happen for you, and whatever it is that you really believe is on the inside of you. You can make it happen, but these are the things that it takes to lead the change you want to see. Thank you for joining Gadberry Leadership Coaching for this session and for this series of about leading change. And I just want to say, add value to somebody, because I promise you the greater value will be added back to you. God bless.